Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO44 coming at you with another video. All right, so the Miami Heat take game one, 106-92 against the Philadelphia 76ers in the second round of these NBA playoffs, Eastern Conference semifinals. This is the deal. I didn't see a single second of this game. I really didn't. Not a second. I didn't even glance at that game. I'm sorry I didn't. But I did see highlights. I did look at stats. I did read up, and I did learn. And what did I learn? I learned these teams shot poorly tonight. Their three-point shot was not falling at all for anyone not named Tyler Hero. Just wasn't falling. Teams were shooting it, but both teams shot horribly. The Heat shot 25%, and the Philadelphia 76ers shot 17%. So when you jack up 36 shots and you only make a few of them, you're not going to get very far, and that's what happened there. Now, I can't tell you if it was a situation where they were forced into taking those threes defensively or if they just settled for them. The highlights didn't really give me that information, honestly. What I did see, though, was a close game throughout of two anemic teams shooting, nothing, until about maybe the 5-minute mark of the third quarter when Tyler Hero was put in the game, and then he just went crazy. He didn't have that problem. He came in and he closed the game. It was a tied game when he got off the bench. When he sat down, they were up 20, and it was basically him. You give credit to PJ Tucker as well. He was active all over the court on both sides of the floor. That man was everywhere tonight, earning his check. Bam Adebayo took advantage of the size advantage that he had tonight, chipping in big for his team. Tobias Harris continued his nice play, chipping in 27 points, attempting 18 shots. You want to see the other guys on the Philadelphia 76ers just chip in a little more than you are, man. I'm not getting nothing out of that Philadelphia 76ers bench. I can see a little something out of Furkan Korkmaz. In 10 minutes, he put up some good points, but, coach doesn't play him for some reason. I can't seem to figure out why. Every time I see Furkan Korkmaz play, he's lighting people up. Every time he plays against my Lakers, he lights us up. It's been like that every year, so I can't seem to figure out why he isn't getting a regular dose of minutes. I don't have an answer for that. He's a good player as far as I can tell. So that's just a weird situation there. Philly's not getting nothing out of him, even though they should be. Paul Reed's been playing well with the minutes he's been given. If coach has been trusting him, he's been doing it. I've gotten nothing out of Shake Milton. Shake Milton's played very well in the regular season during certain points. I don't know what has happened in these playoffs. He has not helped his team on the stat sheet. That much has been evident. He has got to play better, or the Philadelphia 76ers are going to go home very soon. Which is going to happen anyway, to be honest with you guys. They just don't have it. Obviously, it's been said that Joel Embiid is going to be reevaluated before game, 4? I think they said 3 and 4. They're going to try to see when this shifts back to Philly where he's at. I don't know, man. It's just a tall task. I don't have them winning the series even if he's healthy. And it's a tough situation because you guys know I don't think I view him and this team properly, because I'm more of a guy that likes a full team. And I look over at that bench and I say half of the guys that they use don't do anything and the other guys don't get used. So it's like I just can't shake that. My basketball philosophy, everything in my basketball soul tells me that they don't have enough to win, even if Joel is healthy, because you can't win that way. You can't sustain that way. Even if you could defeat your opponent that way, you can't sustain injury, and injuries happen. So it's like it's just not a good bet. At any rate, they are dealing with injury. That's exactly what we're talking about. And they're down 0-1 in the series also. And it's not going to get any easier for them because Bam is getting healthier by the second. He's feeling good. And you look at the Miami Heat and you see that their shooters didn't shoot well, and you know that they're going to play better as the series progresses. Max Strus was a 1-for. Gabe Vincent was a 1-for from behind the arc. Like, these are things that you just can't expect to see too often. And then you look over at the Philadelphia 76ers. You guys, I don't like picking on players, and I don't, you know what I mean? It's a lot of wrong going on over there in Philadelphia in terms of shooting the three behind the arc tonight. But you look at Georges Niang and you see 0 for 7, and you just wonder why the heck he was out there shooting 7 3-point shots in a playoff game. I don't know Georges Niang's game, right? So he could very well be an excellent player I've seen him play well. He had some efficient days in the regular season that I was aware of. He's had some solid games. But if you look at him, he doesn't look like he's going to be able to guard athletes. He's not built like that. And you know what I mean? That's just looking at him. He's not going to be able to guard athletes. So if his shot isn't falling, that right there means he's going to be behind the 8 ball when it comes down to trying to guard the Jimmy Butlers and trying to stay in front of some of these guys, the Tyler Heroes. He's not going to have any success. Coach Doc Rivers is going to have to remove him from this series. You can't allow that to happen twice. You can't allow that to happen twice. You're too undermanned to go with cold hands. Simple as that. And I look at Fork and Korkmaz. He needs every one of those minutes. All of those minutes need to go to him. Matisse Thybulle, I love Matisse Thybulle's game, but 2 points, bro. It's a playoff game, and I know he's a defensive player, but you're down a whole 40 points in Joel Embiid. That point total must be made up somewhere. It must be made up somewhere. And we could talk about James Harden and how he needs to be more efficient. But I'm here to tell you that if you don't work into your equation that he is an inefficient player, then you are wasting your time. You need to think that way already. Don't sit up here and say James Harden needs to be more efficient. Thank him for being more efficient in the rare occasion that he is efficient, because he's not going to be. It's just not falling like that for him no more. He doesn't get to the bucket as easily. He doesn't finish through contact as easily. The three-point shot isn't falling like it used to, and maybe it will pick up again. But as far as him going back in time being Houston Rockets, James, nah, that guy turned the ball over a lot. That guy missed shots too. So he's got to deal with the new James. And the new James is a very good facilitating, scoring two-guard. And as long as he has somebody talented to pass to, he can get 12, 13, 14, even 15 assists. But if he's passing to Georges Niang, and Georges Niang is going for 0 for 7, if he's passing to Shake Milton, and Shake Milton's not hitting anything, if he's passing, etc., you get the point. Nothing good will come of that. So it's up to Coach Doc Rivers to identify who's the dead weight on his team and eliminate them from playing in this series. I cannot stress it enough. When you're undermanned, you can't play guys that can't play good, period. I look at players on the back of that bench and I don't know what they can do, but I know they just drafted a guy by the name of Isaiah Joe. Can he play? If he can, play him now. And I ain't saying play him in key minutes, but I'm saying work him into the rotation. These are the times where you got to find something out of nothing, because Joel is gone. And if he ain't coming back, you got to find something. Simple as that. You go into DeAndre Jordan, you might as well chalk that up as a loss. I'm telling you, you're going to lose doing that. He's done. He should have retired, and he knows it. And this coming from a Laker fan who's been watching him all year long. He knows that. Damn near stealing money at this point. So, look, bottom line, Tobias Harris is a hot hand. He needs to continue to play well in order for him to do well. Paul Reed is somebody who's been playing well for these last 2 games. Give him more shots. Give him more shots. How many shots did he take? I think I saw like 8 shots, maybe up that to 10. Since it's fallen, let it fall. You know what I mean? You're letting Georges Niang shoot 7 threes. Come on. Let's just keep it real. And this is why I always point out Doc Rivers and I say, yeah, he ain't that good of a coach. And you know me, I don't mind bashing coaches on this channel. It's just something that I do, unfortunately. But, it's not without merit. I just see mistakes, and they're the guys who are in charge of what the athletes do. And the athletes get blamed for a lot of what goes wrong when I know it ain't the athlete's fault in some cases. And the organization gets the blame for a lot of stuff that coaches are just simply in charge of certain things. Like, you play that guy, you get different results. But since you want to lean on this guy and this guy, you're going to get the results you get. And then you're going to turn around and do it again. You're going to get the results that came with that. It's just... And then you look up and you say, okay, that guy's on the team and he's supposed to suck because you never see him, right? So you don't know if he can play or not because you never see the dude. So you just write him off as a trash player and you keep on going. And it's just, for me, I look at the coaches in situations like that. And I say, you're why those players don't get up and turn to who they're supposed to turn into and get the money they're supposed to get or whatever it is, because they never get the opportunity they're supposed to get from the coaches that don't believe in them because they're too busy believing in guys that want to go 0 for freaking 7. So that's a pet peeve of mine, and that's why I speak the way that I do. So, all in all, this is a situation where Philly's going to lose whether Doc does everything right or wrong, because at the end of the day, you just can't do this without Joel Embiid. They're not built properly to begin with. That James Harden trade was lopsided as hell. I don't care what nobody tells you, that trade was lopsided. They sent too much out to get back a James Harden that can only put up what he's putting up in these playoffs. I'm sorry. A lot of people want to believe that James Harden is who he used to be, and that's who they paid for. That ain't who they got. And so, all in all, Philadelphia 76ers are not going to be able to defeat the Miami Heat unless some drastic things take place. One of those drastic things is they need Bam Adebayo to just sit down and not come back into this series. They need him to sit down. And they also need Max Strus and Gabe Vincent and all those guys who shot poorly to continue to do that. They need that to continue. The Miami Heat only got, if I'm not mistaken, it was under 15 points from Jimmy Butler. That needs to continue if the Philadelphia 76ers are going to have any chance. Jimmy cannot score normal points. You see what I'm saying? Like, this was a bad Heat game. For their standards, this is a bad game. You consider this is a home game and they shot as poorly as they did from behind the arc. I mean, they're going to lose most games they shoot like this. So if anything, you could feel encouraged that if the Philadelphia 76ers just get their act together on the offensive end, if this continues to be a trend, it's going to play in their favor. Maybe they can get lucky and win some games based on the anemic play of these Miami Heat. It can't continue, so I don't expect that. That's just not something you can hang your hat on. And even in the event they do shoot this poorly, guess what? You still lost. Tyler Hero came off the bench and still smoked you, so this is going to be a quick and painless series if Joel Embiid doesn't throw a mask on his face and get his butt out there. Simple as that. And I'm saying that as candidly as possible because that's as real as it gets. This series is all for naught if he don't hurry up and get back out there. I don't know what the holdup is in regards to health and safety protocol. They want to wait till Game 3, Game 4. Listen, if you're going to wait till Game 3, Game 4, just shut him down. Trust me. You ain't going to win this series if you don't get him out there in Game 2. This is a type of situation where Miami's going to win Game 2, and they're going to go back into your house. They're going to win Game 3 too, because at the end of the day, these matchups are not going to change. And there's so many players that they can get nothing out of that they can call on at any moment. You know what I mean? Kyle Lowry didn't play. He's going to be back at some point. I don't even remember seeing Duncan Robinson's name on the cards, and you know what he can do. Oladipo, same thing. It's obviously a situation where if the Philadelphia 76ers don't get him back, they're gone. So that's why I didn't really watch this game, to be honest with you. I just don't care to watch teams that I know don't have a chance. Tyrese Maxey has to play absolutely phenomenally. And unfortunately, he has some really, really talented people guarding him. You know what I mean? Same thing with James Harden. James Harden has to be very, very efficient. Even if he were to be very, very efficient normally, he's going up against some very talented defensive players. You got Jimmy Butler guarding one or two of those guys throwing different looks at him. You got PJ Tucker bouncing off of you constantly. I mean, you're not going to get a 50-point game out of either one of those people in this series. So, yeah, man, I'm very happy as a person who doesn't have any skin in the game, because being a fan of a team in this situation, it can't be fun. You waited all year long, with Joel Embiid holding you down while you were going through the Ben Simmons thing. You trade Ben Simmons. Happy to end that. You get back James Harden, and you psych yourself into believing James Harden's going to win you a championship, because that's what you have to do if you're the Philadelphia 76ers fan base. You can't be realistic and tell yourself that you just did something that probably won't work and that it's all gone to crap. You ain't going to do that because you have to get rid of Ben Simmons. But at the end of the day, that trade made you worse. You would be much better right now if you had Andre Drummond and Curry in place, because Drummond is a center who can get a bunch of boards and a bunch of easy points for you. Even though he's not very good defensively, you saw what he did when he filled in for Joel. That's exactly what you need right now. James Harden's continuity in his passing is great. you can get a couple extra assists, maybe a couple extra guys make a couple extra buckets. But he's defensive liability on the other end, so you're giving up those same points. It doesn't matter. Point is, they should not have made this trade. They shouldn't have. And I know that they had to get rid of Ben Simmons, but if it didn't make you better, what was the point? What was the point if it didn't make you better? See, they had an obsession about getting James Harden, and I get it because James Harden is really, really, really legendary. He's done some amazing things under Mike D'Antoni specifically. But what I'm saying to you is this. If you can't bring him Mike D'Antoni and you can't turn him back into the old him, and you're bringing him to a fit that, yeah, it fits great. Yeah, Joel Embiid, that's a wonderful fit. But the thing about the Shaq and Kobe thing is the Shaq and Kobe thing was the fact that Kobe was a fantastic defensive player. People don't understand that Kobe would lock down your best man. Kobe shut Allen Iverson down. I watched Kobe shut Iverson down to like 6 points. Iverson was like 1 for 18 on Kobe. Kobe was locking his butt down. Like, people don't understand. It ain't enough to just be an offensive talent. You can slap a big man together and get you a nice offensive talent. That's cool. But do you have all the elements in place to defend? Do you have all the elements in place to complement them? No, and no. You don't have none of those things, Philly. What you have is a date with the Miami Heat, who's a better team than you, and a hurt Joel Embiid, and a James Harden who could leave you at any moment. And I'm not even sure you're mad about that because of how things have looked. You know you don't want to pay him no $200 million or whatever the heck it's going to be. That is ridiculous for what it is that he's about to do for you. If anything, y'all should be thanking God he didn't sign that extension. And y'all should be trying to get up out of that situation and let him go to wherever he's going to land. Likely probably here. Lakers or something. But, yeah. Nevertheless, I don't have much to say about this series, man. I have zero interest in this series until Joel gets back. Miami's going to do what Miami does. They're a nice defensive team that can really, really do a lot of things for you. Tyler Herro is a fantastic player, and I'm telling you guys something that I just want to see. This is just what I want to see. I kind of want to see the Golden State Warriors match up with the Miami Heat in the NBA Finals. And the reason why is because I want to see Tyler Herro and Jordan Poole go at it for 7 games. Because I do believe that they're basically the same player. I truly believe they're basically the same player. Now, JP is a elite passer, I'm learning. And he's a hell of a defensive player, too. I have to learn about Tyler Herro in that way. I'm ignorant. I don't know. But as far as them shooting and the way they run and the way they dance around and the spots they like to get to, how fluid they are shooting the ball, how wet they are from their spots, everything about their offensive game and the way that they move, pretty much the same thing as far as I can tell. Doppelgangers. So I want to see that personally, for whatever it's worth. Anyway, that means nothing to this series. What I will say, though, is the Philadelphia 76ers aren't going to be in the way of that because they are going home. That's all I got to say. BDF 44. Thank y'all for watching. I'm out.